time, 'cause I'm no longer needed here. And with the way it's treated, I must have been out of my mind. Sometimes that shit could get the best of you. So long, I'm leaving, honey. You made a mistake, falling. My heart worked overtime for them. Let the sunshine that you want occasionally.
This is I don't know if you've ever heard of this band. This is Paul.
No, but I liked it.
Oh, it's Paul and the Tall Trees.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a quick rundown about this guy. Paul, who's originally from New York, now lives in Texas. He toured with, oh my God, it's going to kill me now. Very famous musician. He was a backup singer. I actually got to see him. Didn't even realize it was him. Anyway, had him on the show. Then realized that like we had been not Gary Clark Jr. Oh God, it's going to drive me nuts. Anyway, saw him live. But he's in the Shala Das with his dad, who's a famous musician. Anyway, but his band's name's Paul and the Tall Trees. Absolutely amazing. He's been on the show before. And I feel like all of his music belongs in like a Quentin Tarantino movie. So
Well, see, that's really funny because I thought it sounded like something vintage. So I thought it sounded like something old. So
well, you know, we're talking
like
about,
I was thinking 60s, 70s old, like like old.
Oh no.
So
no, we're still there. But no,
I dig the vibe.
It is. He's so good. He's so talented. And he's got a raw voice. He came on the one I interviewed him like 2 years ago. Came on, was playing acoustic. It was amazing. He just knocked it out of the park. He's been on quite a few of my like fundraisers and stuff. Great guy. He's on the bucket list of bands to see. But Paul and the Tall Trees, check him out. I mean, he hasn't really put out anything new recently. This is from 2016, so almost 10 years ago. But
wow,
man, such good stuff. But I was just feeling like we're talking about albums from the last 25 years. But before we get into that, we need to do it. We got to get a cordial in, we got to be cordial, right? We got to make sure we got to pave the road, right? So let me introduce, we've done quite a few episodes together. This is being a consistent thing now. I think this is almost 2 years now of consistency of doing another Unnecessary List. The talented artist who redid the Touring Fan Lives logo. We have the website getting updated. We get new shirts coming out, all this stuff. The talented had just another Guided by Voices poster come out, right? Correct?
Yeah, last Friday.
Look, super talented. I don't know why he talks to me. I don't know why the fuck he comes around anymore, but he does. And he is the super talented. He's an artist. He's a friend, Mr. Brian Math. Oh, they love you. They love you.
Anthony, how have you been?
I'm doing really well. It's been, it's been over 30 days since our last episode. I know we've had a lot going on between both of us in general, but we've rescheduled the show about 3 times, which is awesome. But everything's going great. I've been all over the country and, ran a couple of half marathons and I got a couple more.
Yeah, I saw it. Good job.
Yeah, thanks. It's, I'll tell you something. I'm like, I'll be 39 in a couple weeks, right? And I know age is just a fucking number, right? And you shouldn't worry about it. But like the older you get, like you start feeling things in your body that like, man, this didn't hurt a year ago. Like my recovery time was much better when I was 35. And, it's just, and it's kind of weird. And the whole reason I'm talking about time is because like when you gave me this list for Pitchfork, and he said the best, these best albums, 200 best albums of the last 25 years. First of all, there was a lot on there I never heard of. But for the most part, I was like, man, I remember being like going to a record store and buying the CD and like being excited about it or like the hype about it. Like the one album on here, which had like, there was a huge hype of like digital and stuff of that. And it's crazy to think that like the last 27 years ago.
Well, it was real. I kind of thought, and the more that I was looking into the list, so this is, you'll post it up there. So this is the 200 best albums of the last 25 years, 1996 through 2021 is when it was published, according to Pitchfork readers. So I think that we need to clarify that this is a list of favorite albums by readers of Pitchfork, not by critics, which I thought kind of added some interesting points. I think that we'll pick out throughout the conversation. But yeah, I think 96 to 2021 is an interesting an interesting range because we're looking at things that were originally we bought on CD,
Mhm.
and then we've got into stuff that was, and then we made that transition into streaming and even back to vinyl.
Correct.
With a lot of people buying things on vinyl. So an interesting, I think, 25 years for Pitchfork in general is just a really interesting section of time, especially when you look at a lot of things that are on the list. We're going to talk like we do normally. We're going to talk about the top 10. Um, but yeah, it spanned a lot of time, a lot of albums that I think that we all recognize, really enjoy. Um, Interesting where they kind of sort out on this list. So I don't know if you have any thoughts before we jump into it, Anthony, but
No, the only thing I can say is, and I thought, and I'm glad that you brought it up too about the reader side of it, is this is what I call Pearl Jam fandom. It's when there is notice put out on social media that, hey, there's a list being made and we
yeah.
want all of our fans to really push our albums. And I think not necessarily the band did it, but there is very much clear favoritism to one band. And I think it's because their fans really just rose to the occasion to be like, we're gonna push this stuff. Now, I don't disagree necessarily with some of these choices. I just feel as though maybe there was some bottom albums that should be a little bit higher up. I think that some of the albums on the top should be a little bit lower. But in the grand
I
scheme of
agree.
things, I will say this though before I let you speak, because I want to get this out here. Because if you say this, I'm gonna be I don't want you to take this from me. So I want to make sure I say
No.
this before you say it.
Okay.
I am really impressed with the amount of good music that came out in that 25-year period, because I felt like there was a point in time when the 90s were over and everyone's like, man, this next generation of music, what is it called? It sucks. And there was the emo trend, and which is hilarious to me now, because what the emo trend is now is similar to what the grunge trend was in the early 2000s if you look at timetables. But I really am impressed with the quality of music that's on this list. I'm really impressed with that timetable of how lucky we were to be around that, because there was a lot of talented music at that point. And it just shows you that maybe things aren't as bad as it seems, and maybe we should give shit a chance.
No, I think that's a good point. And what it made me think, what you said, maybe, and that's not what I was going to say, but it made me think of a couple of things. One being, you look at some of the bands that are on this list that are still around, and you look at pretty heavy duty I think albums that we still listen to probably as a whole, that are on this list. Maybe not in the top 10, but so it does really show that there was really good solid music over that 25-year period after post grunge, shall we call it. The other thing I think we need to keep in mind about this list is, being that it is Pitchfork, I think we need to keep in mind that it's a particular audience that Pitchfork has. And I think that audience is more indie, a little bit more nuanced than, say, so you're not going to see, this isn't a list you're going to see Pearl Jam on. And I think that's just because people that listen to Pearl Jam aren't generally big Pitchfork readers. Therefore, they weren't involved in this. And I think you can kind of tell that by what's kind of rose to the top on this list. That's not a negative thing or anything, but I think it's just a difference. They can see, like, mainstream, quote unquote mainstream, versus more of an indie aesthetic on this list. So what do you think? Should we hit it?
I'm all about it. I do want to throw a cool stat I found out that I think might tie into this a little bit. There was a statistic put out recently about bands and longevity. And they were showing that once bands started in the 90s, going into 2000, so celebrating the 10-year anniversary, right? Because supposedly if you can get through a band within the first year, longevity lasts. But they were saying that bands that started from 91 onwards to now, to whatever the last 10 years, they have a better there's more bands staying together longer than there was in the 80s, 70s, 60s, and so on. And it's because of the ease of access of recording at home, the ease of access to being able to publish your own music, the ease of access of streaming, and the ease of access of cost in general to do this, compared to having to go to a studio back in the day. So I thought that was interesting, because a lot of these bands that are on this list are having long careers.
No, absolutely. I totally agree.
All right. Let's do we have a drum roll button? It's been a while since I've touched this. Do we have a, let's see. How about this one? No, that wasn't a good one.
Yeah,
That one, that was a fail.
There you go. You got that right.
I got that right. All right. Here we go. So number 10. Now, I'm going to put this out there about Wilco. I am not the largest Wilco fan by any means. I like a couple of their songs. I'm probably more of like their hits kind of person.
Okay.
I've seen them live. I've enjoyed them. I think they're a very talented band. But there is definitely a huge hardcore fan base for this band, Wilco. I think the Yankee Hotel Foxtrot is the name. Yeah, right? Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. It's a very good album. But I will say this. This is way too high on the list, in my opinion.
Wow. I would say it's not high enough.
Oh, okay.
So I've I'm a little biased, but because I've worked with Wilco for a long time, I love them. But this is the album that I really discovered them, and I listened to this thing constantly. It is a complete listen for me. It's not like I want to listen to like that one song. This album really didn't have any singles. It was recorded. It was rejected by the record company. It ended up being Wilco bought it back from the record company and ended up selling it to Reprise, I think, which ended up being bought by the company that initially had fucked them over to begin with. So they still ended up, and then it finally ended up getting released. But before it got released, it was totally leaked on the internet. So, I mean, I was just listening to, me and everybody else were listening to leaked copies of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. For me, it's like one of my favorite albums of all time. So it's just it's really the album that I think Tweedy and Wilco really found themselves of being, kind of breaking out of that little bit of the alt country thing that they were in, and became more of an alternative act. I mean, and they've really kind of defied being pigeonholed into whatever, one thing. I mean, they're obviously very versatile, but for me, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot is like just one of my favorite albums of all time.
What year did this album come out?
It came out. It's a good question. I wonder if it's listed on here.
I don't see it on the list.
Not.
That's why.
Yeah. I can figure it out really quickly.
I wonder if I can click. If I click this, does it send me?
It might be 2000.
2002.
2002. Yeah.
So this is definitely in the LimeWire days. So
and so this whole they actually put the album online before it was officially released.
Oh,
they leaked it themselves.
And then it's crazy because Pitchfork gives it a score of a perfect 10.
I would agree with that. And FYI, if you haven't seen it, check out I'm Trying to Break Your Heart, the documentary about the making of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, which is a great documentary. And just a really cool way. I love documentaries in general, but I also love, but specifically with documentary film, I love documentaries about the making of albums. So if there's a band in a studio, I couldn't care less what band it is. I will watch that documentary. And
100%.
this is one of my favorite music documentaries.
Hell, I watched that Spice Girl documentary and I was intrigued. Like, I just like the idea of the process and like
I just like to I love to see just people in the studio. Like, I mean, if you haven't seen Funky Monks, the Red Hot Chili Peppers documentary about the making of Blood Sugar Sex Magic, it's awesome. Like, they're in this house and they've just set shit up, and it just, just to see like Frusciante kneeling on the floor playing a guitar solo like into a little tiny amp while they're recording it, it's just cool. It's just a cool process. Like, I'd love to be in a studio and be a fly on the wall.
All right. So you think this should be higher up on the list?
On my let's just say, not to get crazy or anything, but it's on my list of top 5 albums. It's number 2.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Now let's move on to number 9. Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. Let's click on this and see what they rank this on Pitchfork.
It's got to be a 10, I would assume.
9.5
or 9.5. Okay.
So,
now I think Kendrick Lamar is, I mean, I think Kendrick Lamar is fantastic. I mean, I'm not a huge hip hop guy, but I see that Kendrick Lamar is like the top of the game. I mean, as far as hip hop is concerned. Um, I'm not super familiar with this record. It I assume everything and most of everything he does is really, really good. I'm just not familiar with it.
Correct. And I think that like once again, pitchfork.com, I believe the readers this follows in what their belief, I guess their listening skills are. I think we've had a conversation with Kendrick Lamar in the past. I've tried to listen to him. Doesn't really do anything for me. I think me listening to like hip hop music in general ended at like 1999. I mean, there's a couple things I've sprinkled in, like Run the Jewels, love Run the Jewels, and things that. But I mean, for the most part, like this is just not like it just doesn't do anything for like I'm not getting into it. Like it just doesn't excite me when it comes to music. So this would not be clearly in my top 10 of that 25-year period. But I will say this though about Kendrick Lamar, I do appreciate someone that actually you can see goes in the studio, records it himself, is hands-on with all of his music, is very much the producer, everything when it comes down to it, the writer. So when you actually have the skill sets doing it and you're not just mumbling over someone else's track, I can respect that. And I really do wholeheartedly believe that that is something that he does and he does well. And because of that, I have a lot of respect for him, but just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. I mean, he will show up later on this list to give this comment some context, but he did win a Pulitzer Prize for literature for rap. I mean, that's never been done. I mean,
no.
And so he's in that upper echelon of hip hop artists, and that doesn't mean, I mean, it's just not something that I listen to regularly. Everything I've heard of his, I've really enjoyed. I'm just not a hip hop person. I don't listen to like new hip hop like you and I. I mean, if I listen to hip hop, it's something from like the 90s or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's
let me ask you this. What's your go-to, like if you are in the car, it's a good day. Like I had that today. It happened today. The top's off the Jeep. It's like 70 degrees outside. I was like, I'm bringing my kid to soccer. I'm going to be a tough dad. I'm going to put on some good rap music. And I always have a go-to song. Do you have a go-to rap song when you're driving on a nice day?
It might be like "Let Me Ride" or something from the Chronic, probably. I mean, I love the Chronic. It's my favorite. I mean, I do like a lot of old school hip hop, but I do love the Chronic. I can listen to it from beginning to end. How about you? What did you choose?
I'm Cream, Wu-Tang. That's it. You throw that
on. Oh,
that's
a good one. Oh yeah.
I'm ready to run through a fucking wall. If that song's on, I'm ready. Like I don't know who's fighting. I'm ready to go.
Just that like 36 Chambers album is just the whole album. And I love when they used to do and they might still do it now. I just don't listen to a lot of hip hop, but when they do the little things in between songs, like it's not a full song, it might be like a little skit or something in between the songs. I love that shit. I think it's funny.
Oh god, good
stuff. And I understand that it's serious, but I like when they bring the humor back in. So yeah, 100%. Let's go to number 8
is The Strokes. Is This It? I fucking love The Strokes. Seen them live a bunch of times.
Yeah, it's a great record. I love this album. It was just so different from, I mean, it's a garage rock thing, but it was just so different when it came out, and the way that they put the effects on Julian's vocals and just all the weird little guitar shit that they do. I mean, and just great songwriting. The Strokes are solid with songwriting, but this is, for me, it really encompasses everything about them.
Correct. This is their best album. I mean, there's nothing. I don't have any best.
There's but some of their other albums, it's like, it's like 3 or 4 songs. This is like all bangers all the way through. I mean,
and they started such an amazing like New York City indie band out of the garage movie. The
garage rock thing. I mean, it was funny because I always joke, and it's kind of like a partial joke, but I always call Kings of Leon the Southern Strokes because I always thought that's what they sounded like when they came out. And I saw somebody did a TikTok the other day, and they were talking about they were like the Southern Strokes, Kings of Leon, and then they were talking about putting up other bands like the Hives and different and like this is the Norwegian Strokes, this is the blah 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 Strokes, and I'm like, yeah, you can a little bit, but the Kings of Leon Southern Strokes thing for me is just always. I even when I listen to those first two Kings of Leon records, because I don't listen to anything after the first two Kings of Leon records.
Oh, there's you're missing the third one was good. Everything, and then it fell off.
For me, it's like the first two records are damn near perfect. Especially Aha Shake Heartbreak is just that for me. It's amazing. And it really bums me out that they decided to be like, we're going to be like U2 or something.
I know.
Like,
they went from writing songs about like sex, party, and penises to like...
and just all the like cool, weird sexual innuendo in their songs were hilarious.
Or even writing about a song about Spiral Staircase. Like, who the hell...
the Spiral Staircase. And the stuff about their dad being a preacher and all that crap. I mean, I just loved... Yeah, I love that whole vibe, but... I love the Strokes. Is This It is one of my favorite records, and it's definitely in my tops for this. For me, it could have been higher, but
I agree.
Because we're gonna get to this point where we are going to talk about artists with multiple albums in the top 10, which I think is
head scratch.
Let's just make room for. I mean, they might be great records, but let's make room for other artists. Let's have more. Yeah.
All right, what the hell? What happened to this thing? All right.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay. I think
I know you love this record. Yeah.
I love this record. Arcade Fire to me is damn near one of the most I've never seen them live. I've had opportunities to see them live, and I had a buddy that was supposed to see him live with me. Every time I'm like, all right, I won't go without you. Well, now I'm really pissed because I should have went fucking 4 times when he didn't go with me. Yeah. And now it's like killing me. But I just love the musical encapsulation that you get with Arcade Fire. There's so many musical pieces, the band's moving around playing different instruments, and it's just so beautiful. I don't know, there's just this beauty that comes out of it. And I love and I've said I love music that makes you feel something.
Absolutely, yeah.
Funeral, that entire album, first song to last song, there's just movement into it. Wake Up it's just God, that gives me the chills. The first time I saw the video of them just playing down I don't know, there's something special about this band. It sucks there's allegations against the singer because he seems to be a creep, but it doesn't take away the fact that he's a talented person.
Yeah, and I think that what's interesting about Arcade Fire is that I think it's easy to be like, it's all the one guy. I think they're all the talent in the entire band is amazing. I mean, I think they're all really talented, and to get that kind of sound live and just even to record it. I mean, I think with all of those different instruments and on all of the different parts, it's very orchestral, and it was totally different for a quote unquote pop act or an indie act at that time to have that much just interesting, weird instrumentation going on. And I think that the album itself is just really strong from beginning to end. It's definitely my favorite Arcade Fire album. It doesn't surprise me that it's in the top 10. It kind of surprised me that it wasn't higher. Cause I mean, that was like, I think if you think of like Pitchfork and the readership,
Arcade
that's like their record. I mean, you would think. I was surprised Neon Bible wasn't higher up.
Oh, but, Neon Bible is another good one. But I mean, and their documentary they had a documentary as well that was fantastic, where they talked about like recording in a church.
Yeah, I remember.
What the church? I don't even know what this means, but this is frustrating. Arcade Fire equals Gigaton, in my opinion. No, that is your Mark. Hold on.
I'm not a big.
Mark,
I'm not a. Yeah.
No, you were wrong on this one.
I'm not a big Gigaton fan, but I don't see that correlation.
Arcade Fire is amazing. But I will say that if you never had an opportunity to see, they ended up buying a church in Canada, like an old church, and recorded one of their albums in it, and it was, it was good. And I think it was a controversial album too, where they talked about like church and stuff. I don't know, but it was good stuff. I love.
Well,
Arcade
I think that in either they have or they're going to play like 20th anniversary shows for Funeral. Oh. But I don't know if that's already happened or if that's going to happen. But...
I hope so. All right, so this has got a 9.7, and it got award for best new music.
Okay, so so did we check the other ones? Because the only one that's gotten a 10 so far is Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
Kendrick Lamar had
9.5.
9.5 best new music.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the Strokes is this. It was 9.1, no other award.
Okay.
And then Wilco, I believe, was a 10.
Wilco was a 10. So what
And
was Yankee or what was Funeral?
Funeral was a 9 something.
Okay.
No awards for Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. Based off just Pitchfork. It could have won awards anywhere else. It's just Pitchfork.
Yeah,
award.
yeah. But but the only one with a 10 so far, and we're almost halfway through the list. So
correct. 9.7.
Let's just keep that in mind. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I see what you're doing here.
I'm just
I see what you're doing.
I'm just pointing out numbers.
I don't need your Wilco propaganda. Okay. You
All
hold
right.
that to yourself. All right, moving on to
Okay.
number 6. See, this is another one. I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw this. I don't even know who the person is.
Frank Ocean, hip hop. Channel Orange is his, which is number 14 on the list. Is more of his, I think, big coming out record. I'm aware of Frank Ocean. I've listened to a little bit. I'm not familiar with this record so much. I think this is another one of those kind of pitchforky things.
Pitchforky.
Yeah.
You must be one of those pitchfork readers, the way you do your hair and listen to music going on the subway in London.
All that kind of stuff. But I'm sure it's a very good record. It's just not my thing. Yeah.
I have nothing.
And I think it's just, yeah. So let's go to number 5.
Okay, number 5. I don't like how this thing keeps popping up. Kendrick Lamar again. To Pimp
Now
a
here we
Butterfly.
go. Okay, so now we've got to our first double take. I think if you're going to put a Kendrick Lamar album, and like I said, we know that this is a reader's list. It's not, but I think if you're going to put a Kendrick Lamar album on here, it's obviously To Pimp a Butterfly. It was his big record. He won lots of Grammys. He won the Pulitzer Prize for it. So, we all know that it's his masterpiece, and rightfully so. So why is there a need for 2? I think if you put 2 Kendrick Lamar albums on here, or later we're going to see with another artist, you're squeezing out other artists. And I think that that's kind of a bummer. Everything good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was hearing. I thought I heard someone calling my name.
Oh,
but it wasn't like a voice I recognized. I don't
But
know.
yeah, I think we're taking up spots for potentially other artists to be on here, specifically some female artists. Just taking a look at, you don't see a female artist on this list until 17. And that's Lana Del Rey, and we could have another conversation about that. But
Are you a Lana Del Rey fan? Just out of curiosity.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
No. Are you?
I'm not real familiar with her work, but I know
Okay.
I know the Queen is, or Mama. Is that what they call her? What do they call Taylor Swift nowadays? Like,
I don't know. They call her Taylor Swift, I thought. Maybe
people-
maybe the kids do say mother. I don't know necessarily what that means.
It's a weird. It's weird how people name each other's things, but
I don't understand it. But yeah,
I'm not familiar with Lana Del Rey. I saw her live once. She opened up
Okay.
for somebody, and it was good. I didn't walk away. Like I was like, oh, I was entertained, but like, I
Okay.
don't remember any of the songs. But
yeah, I'm not a fan.
okay, well we'll save that for another episode.
Yeah.
All right, moving on
Okay.
to number 4. All right, this is. I'm wondering if we're gonna be on the same page for this because
Okay.
I think this should have been number 1 on the list.
Really?
In Rainbows is Radiohead's most perfect album, in my opinion.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
Videotape by Radiohead is one of the
Mm-hmm.
most perfect songs they've ever wrote. And it is the most scary, haunting, and most beautiful songs they've ever written. And it took me a long time after hearing it for the first time to listen to it again without crying. And I listened to it again a couple times today, and I got chills again.
Wow.
This album, and you got to remember, too, when this album came out, it was 24-hour notice. That's it.
Yes.
There was, this is the beginning of the digital era is In Rainbows, okay? And the fact they got a 9.3 makes me just hate Pitchfork even more. This album in 2007, I'll never forget it because I forgot what they called it. There was a word for it, but Radiohead went out on their website. Their website.
Well, yeah,
completely
you
went
had
down.
to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then
You had to go to the
pop-up came out.
website. Yeah, you had to go to the website to get it.
and download. It was a digital album, and I remember a lot of people were pissed because in 2007, the only way to listen to music was either through a Zune, if you remember those, bringing back memories, or an iPod.
And yeah, you couldn't go to iTunes and download it. You had to go to the Radiohead website to get it.
Correct. And it was crazy, but I remember listening to it, and albums to me, if you can listen to it the first time and feel emotion, and listen to it 100 times over and still get emotion. There's only a few albums that do that. In Rainbows is one of them. Dark Side of the Moon is another one. Vitology is another one, where every time you listen to it, you still feel something. There's a lot of music that I like, but after a while you listen to it, it's just kind of like background noise after a while. It's like, I love this song. It's a great song, but you're not emotionally connected to it. In Rainbows, to me, is Radiohead's best album they ever put out. There's some songs on there that are absolutely amazing, and in Videotape, to me, is the perfect Radiohead song ever written. Wow.
That's a heavy endorsement, Anthony. In Rainbows is not my favorite Radiohead album. I probably should give it another listen, but it was never one of the ones that really stuck with me. My favorite Radiohead album will be a couple of spots higher on this list. Not bragging or anything.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Pitchfork.
No, and I will see your videotape with a song on that record, which is Exit Movie from a Film, which I think is crushing. And when you were talking about Videotape, what you said about Videotape made me think about Exit Music from a Film. So we can have that debate. But
the lyrics of like, when I arrive at the pearly gates, this will be on my videotape. And like, I just like it. And like, I like when you can like listen to something and like start visualizing something. I just visualize it. Well,
Tom York has always been that type of lyricist. I mean, and I think that I would probably like In Rainbows more now if I listen to it again. But yeah, I feel what a lot of the things you said about In Rainbows are what I feel about this Radiohead record. We will discuss in a couple spots.
All right. So going to number 3, and I
don't even want to talk about it.
No. Here's the thing. Kanye West puts out songs, they're real popular. Whatever. Get it. Okay. There's some songs that like my son listens to hype up. Get it.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand the appeal to him. I understand his edginess because that's who he is. I think he does things, but the man has problems and needs mental health help. He definitely does. Yes. But in the same sense too, I am sorry. There is 100 albums that came out in that 25-year span that I can guarantee that I can put up side by side next to this. There's like, first of all, Beach House is on here, which I was surprised about. Beach House put out so many great albums in that 25-year span. That should be on here. That should be in the top upper. St. Vincent, who is probably one of the greatest female guitar players in the last 25 years. She's not in the top 10 blows my fucking mind. Tori Amos, I don't even know if she put an album out in the last 25 years, but for some reason she should be on this fucking list.
I think a little, but no, I think that, and what you just pointed out is three female artists that are, the fact that this top 10, I think it's actually really telling about.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. A 10? Are you serious?
Yeah. But I think it's really, I looked it up already, so I don't want to spoil it for you. But I think it's really telling that there aren't any female artists in the top 10, but yet we have multiple Kendrick Lamar albums, multiple albums by other artists that are just taking up spots that could be reserved for some of the artists that are on this, some of the female artists that are higher up, like, Lauryn Hill and Fiona Apple and Beyonce even. I mean, I just think that there's, of course, though, when I made my list, there was really like 2 women on it, but I mean, that's better than none.
Yeah.
But still, I just, I think, and I mean, and like I said, I think I've made it clear, hip hop is not my genre, but is this even the best Kanye record?
No.
I mean,
what's the one? His first album came out in what year? That was in 2000.
Well, Graduation is 2000. Late Registration was Graduation. 808s and Heartbreak. I mean, I could at least name a song off those albums. I don't even know.
Through the Wire?
I don't even know one of the songs on this album. So
no.
And that could just be me and my, middle-aged white guy thing, but yeah, no. And we don't need to let's not keep hyping up Kanye West, people, and let's just
Then you know
stop.
what?
Yeah.
Moving the fuck on. Number
Yeah.
2, Radiohead. Okay.
This is my favorite Radiohead record. Yeah. And for me, what I feel about Radiohead is like, I feel very similar. Like, for me, there was a break between the Benz and OK Computer, and you can't like either one of them equally. You have to be a Benz person or an OK Computer person, in my mind. And I think at one point in time, I was a Benz person. Now I'm an OK Computer person. I think that this is, to me, their most complete rock album, I would say, because this was came out before they did Amnesiac and Kid A, and which I like those records too, but those are more like dancey, keyboardy kind of stuff. I like the guitar driven type of thing because I'm just an old dude. But
no, I get it.
This this for me is just like, this to me is their masterpiece. I think it's got everything that I want in a Radiohead record. I love like Paranoid, and all the songs are great. I don't give a. I mean, it's one of those things where you listen to everything like beginning to end. It's not like I'm going to listen to one song. It's like you listen to one song, you got to listen to the whole damn thing.
It's a 10.
But yeah, it is a 10, and it should be a 10. Dark Twisted Fantasy should not be a 10. Give it like a 9, whatever. Just it shouldn't be a 10. No. But yeah, this is my favorite Radiohead record. I love it. It's amazing and perfect and wonderful. I just love it. It's got all of Tom York's crazy weirdness. Like the first song, the opening track is Airbag, and he's terrified of cars and all kinds of stuff, and he's thinking about dying in a car crash. And it's like, maybe it's just my anxious persona that rings true with Tom York's anxiety about life in general. Why I like it, I don't know.
Mark Kirby asked the question: how can the readers go from Kanye to Radiohead? This is sort of a bipolar-ish.
Well, it's super bipolar-ish, to be honest with you. Right. And yeah, I think that's a good comment, because it kind of makes you feel that way. You're like, what are we listening? What are we looking at? But so what are your thoughts about OK Computer?
I love, first of all, I don't know if there's a Radiohead album I don't like.
Yeah.
But this was definitely, like you were talking about, Tom York started getting experimental. Tom York really started getting experimental with Radiohead, then realized that Radiohead wasn't feeling it, and then started making his solo career and started doing it, whatever those albums were. And then kind of reintroduced, I would say, with In Rainbows to get back into more of the traditional music sense that Radiohead was known for. But OK Computer is still, I mean, I would still think it's a 10 album. I think In Rainbows is a 10 album. I think Radiohead in general. Now, I will say this. There is some people in the band that have some thoughts that I potentially don't agree with. But for the most part, I think this is a group of men that are all equally talented, experimentally talented. They took music and bent it in ways that was experimental and really kind of gave a platform for other people to be experimental in their own sense. I mean, when I saw them live, I remember there was this piano, I don't know, massive piano. The guy's like plugging shit in and out, and he's playing, and I'm like, what? I don't even know what the hell he's doing.
What they can do with sound is just like, because I've seen them a couple of times, and they were like tuning in radio stations, and Wilco was the same way when they toured for Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. So I think that for me, there might be a lot of a parallel between OK Computer and Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, with just like the weird dissonant noises and stuff. But yeah, the way that they can take that and like weave it into music and make it like intelligible is just beyond my comprehension.
Now, I've tried listening to their new project they put out, because they came like locally here to a small...
The Smile?
Yeah, I couldn't get into it.
I haven't tried, but I think Johnny, I think the way that Johnny and Tom work is just, they have it's like I think there's definitely like a vibe, like they have like a Lennon McCartney kind of thing, and just the way, and then they go off and do, Johnny Greenwood goes and does stuff for movies, and Tom York goes and does his thing. And but
Then
they can get back together and they just make
something new.
amazing stuff. Yeah.
All right, let's get to number 1, and then we'll start dissecting our own list.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 is it's Radiohead again. It's Kid A.
Yeah. So yeah, Radiohead taking up 3 spots on the list is, you know, as much as I love Radiohead and these records, I think it's, you know, it's a 10.
It is a 10. Jeez.
Yeah. So the only 10s on the list are Kid A, OK Computer, Kanye. We're not touching that.
Yeah, no.
And Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, which is number 10.
I don't.
So
and here's my thought on this album, not to overstep.
No,
but I don't even know if this is. Wouldn't put this above the other 2 Radiohead albums.
I personally don't know. I like Kid A, but like I said, this is where they started getting more electronic, which is perfectly fine. I do like Kid A and Amnesiac. I loved both of those records, but I'm still an OK Computer person.
Yeah, because Kid A I don't listen to nearly as much as the other albums. And then like just kind of like I just want to scroll through this list real quick. We're gonna do some hot shots real quick because like Neutral Milk Hotel, that's a great album. Stefan Stevens, Illinois. I remember when he said he was originally going to do 50 albums from every state.
50 albums from every state, yeah.
It didn't last, and we're gonna pass that album. I don't know Frank Ocean, LCD Sound System, Mad Villain. I don't even know what that is. Lana Del Rey.
If you don't know what it is, it's like why it shouldn't be on there. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Lana Del Rey, Norman fucking Rockwell. Like I said, I'm not real familiar. And then this is when he decided let's stop making states and start changing it up elsewhere. Animal Collective, Mary. This is actually a really good album. I don't know if it's a top thing. Vampire Weekend. This is an amazing album. Now, Interpol, Turn on the Bright Lights. Spoiler alert, in my top 5.
I was surprised that wasn't higher. I mean, that was a huge record, and they were also at that same time as the Strokes, but they were like completely different. I mean,
and they were so lazy in their playing style.
You know, I've seen them live. They were so boring. But it was great. Like, the song sounded fantastic, but
they were the most boring.
Couldn't care. It looked like they didn't even want to be there.
God, but even like what was this? Doom, 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 doom.
That's for me that the album. Which one is the one after Turn on the Bright Lights? Is my Antics is my favorite Interpol record. I love that record. Rosemary.
Heaven
restores you in life.
All right. The Suburbs, we talked about that. Fiona Apple.
And for me, I love Fiona Apple, but for me, on my list, it's When the Pawn. When the Pawn is my favorite Fiona Apple record, and it's just, I liked Fetch the Bolt Cutters. My daughter really loves Fetch the Bolt Cutters, but for me, I love When the Pawn.
I have no idea who this is.
Tame Impala.
Nope.
Not a big fan.
I don't understand Bjork. I understand she has a huge following. I understand she has a couple of hits, but I don't know. I've tried diving into albums. I just, maybe it's just me. I don't know.
I like singles. I like a couple songs here and there. I haven't gotten Bon Iver. I don't get it.
Black Star. This is actually in my top 5.
Okay.
This, and I think, and maybe this is Anthony playing with it, but Anthony with his emotions, because like the documentary that went with Black Star, like him recording and no one knowing he's dying.
Yeah, I think that's definitely it's just sad. It's just so sad. Well, let's get to our lists and let's go with so I'm going to do a little mix up on my list, since I'm going to go with 5 albums that I thought should be in the top 10.
Okay.
And then you can do whatever you want.
I don't know if anything I want, but we'll try.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, so these are in no particular order because I don't like to give things orders. But so these are albums that were either lower, like super low on the list, that I love, that came out during this time, that I thought should have been higher. And I'm gonna start it off with Songs for the Deaf by Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh,
that record is amazing and wonderful, and I understand why it's not high up on the Pitchfork list because, it's, middle-aged dad, white guy rock, but
Yeah.
that it holds up. That album is just it's a start to finish, just it's a masterpiece, I think. I love that record, and it should be on there.
I don't disagree with you at all.
Well, thank you.
Well, because here's the thing. When it comes to Queens of Stone Age, we've talked about them plenty of times in the past. They're they are. If I was in a rock and roll band, like if I could be plopped into a rock and roll band and really just live that lifestyle and play the music, like Queens of Stone Age would be the band I wanted to be in. Like they're just playing style, their playfulness on stage. I feel like those guys, even when they're done rock and rolling, they're going into like an old like Camaro or something like that, and just like cruising the desert or something like that. I don't know. Just
they'd be a band that would like go hang out at the Rainbow, like with all the rock stars. They'd go hang out with rock stars, and that's where they belong. Because they're rock stars.
Because they are
rock stars.
Rock stars. Oh man, what else you got on your list, or you want to go one for one?
Go for one for one. What do you got?
All right, for me, we talked about it a little bit. Saint Vincent Mercy.
Okay.
Is an album. This is when she really, because she had, leading up to this, you had Actor and Marry Me, where they were heard very much like she was definitely getting more playful. She just came out of playing with that other band where she was a guitarist, and I felt like Strange Mercy was when she really was starting to figure out what she wanted to be. And it's just an amazing album front to back. And it is like, anytime I heard her new album, All Born Screaming, which is like new singles are coming out. I listen to it and I'm like, man, it just makes me want to go back to Strange Mercy. Like, because as soon as I listen to it, I love it. But I'm like, I'm just going back to Strange Mercy. What
is your favorite song on Strange Mercy?
That is a great question. So it's going to be tough because you have Cruel, which was the first single off the album, which was fantastic. Then you had Surgeon, which was the really popular song. Cheerleader, which was really good. But I think the title track, Strange Mercy, was probably is my favorite.
Alrighty.
You taking notes?
I am, yeah.
You can go.
I might have a gift for you.
Oh. Okay.
Did you know that I did guitar drawings? One year, I did a St. Vincent guitar.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. I did her because I was looking for guitars by female artists, and she had that one that she did with I can't remember what guitar company that it is, but it might have been Ari Ball. I don't know, but she has that really distinctive body style on the guitar.
She was the first. She was the first artist that paid for my photos. So she was the fifth or sixth band. So I don't know the whole story about it if I've told you this, but like I bullshitted really well to get into photograph bands.
Yeah.
I lied through my teeth about how my credentials and stuff. So I traveled with, it's right here. Every show I went to, I took this ukulele, right? I don't know if I've ever showed you this before, but every artist I photographed, I had them like sign it. So it's autographed around the whole damn thing. St. Vincent, because she drew. So the whole idea behind this was I was going to carry this ukulele to every show until I photographed Pearl Jam. So I carried this to every single show, had every artist sign it except one because they're assholes. And and she wrote, Jeremy spoke in class today, St. Vincent, right here. And we talked for about 45 minutes after the show. And she was talking about like her musical influences. And, she had talked about, how Pearl Jam, Mike McCready meant to her and stuff like that. And the craziest thing was the next year after I photographed her. So she bought the pictures for me. I have a bunch of them still. I could post them later. I think they were some of the best pictures I've ever taken. The next year she actually closed. She was at the Dallas show and played with Pearl Jam and sang Rocking in the Free World. So it was kind of a cool moment.
Oh, very cool.
So it was cool. But St. Vincent, love St. Vincent, huge fan.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, my next one would be, we talked about it, Fiona Apple, When the Pawn. Something about the switch in Fiona Apple when she went, mainly from doing like the piano stuff to when she hooked up with John Bryan and started doing all this really orchestral mellotron crap and her songs that just and something about that record just with the level of emotionality and is that even a word? The level of emotion um, through that entire record. I love it. It's one of my favorite albums of all time, but it's certainly my favorite Fiona Apple record.
Emotionality is a word.
Okay.
Yep. The meaning of
But
emotionality
yeah,
is a quality or state of being emotional or highly emotional.
it's very and emotions a great range of emotions because it's not just like sad songs. I mean, she's pissed and she has songs where she's angry and she is, you know, she's not screwing around. She's
No.
gonna tell you how it is. A great lyricist too.
And
Amazing
she sings
lyricist.
from a place that a lot of artists wish they had the ability to sing from.
Yeah, she's definitely one that I would love to see live before, I shuffle off this mortal coil. But she'd
Mm.
be fun. I'd love to see her. So what's another one from yours, Anthony?
My Morning Jacket, Critical.
I was really surprised there wasn't any My Morning Jacket on there.
Shocked because so Wonderful and Out of My System and Victory Dance are 3 bangers live. Now you
Mhm.
could go if everyone can go to Z and there's so many great albums because I mean if you think about their discovery from I mean Jesus Christ if you go back I mean you're talking I mean in the last 25 years you've had
Mhm.
Evil Urges, It Still Moves, Z, The Waterfall, At Dawn, Tennessee Fire, Waterfall 2, well Tennessee Fire was 99 but so
I
many
would have
albums they
thought
put
that
out.
they would have been I would have thought that they would have been like kind of in that sweet spot for the Pitchfork
Yeah,
audience.
you would think so.
I'm surprised they didn't have at least
But then
one
again,
on there.
they are like from my understanding, now I've never seen them overseas. They do much better in the States. That's why they travel heavily in the States and they do
Mhm.
like the Mexico thing, but they don't really go overseas as often. So
Mm,
maybe they just don't they're not appealing over I'm not sure, but
I don't know. Yeah.
My Morning Jacket, one of my favorite bands. So what about you?
So another album, and all of these albums that are ones that I listened to. I really I miss the album concept. I miss the concept of just a whole album where you just sit there and listen to a whole record. So these are all albums that I would listen to a lot in their entirety. The next one is White Blood Cells by the White Stripes, which is my favorite White Stripes record. Um, I just remember listening to it a lot when I lived out in Seattle. A lot of these actually when I lived in Seattle or what I would listen to like driving to and from work or riding the bus. Um, after I downloaded them illegally. But then I
LimeWire
did go
days.
but I did go see them live, so I gave them money. But yeah, the White Blood Cells was my favorite White Stripes record, and I used to listen to it quite a lot. And it's just to me it's just it opened my eyes to the world of the White Stripes.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the White Stripes heavily in the past,
Mhm.
and you know, they I like the fact that they were so different and
Mhm.
so simple, and the music that they could put out with just 2 people, and how and impactful some of those songs are. I mean,
Yeah.
actually, I guess I'll jump ahead, but like Elephant is on my list. But if you look at
Mhm.
all of those songs on there, Ball and Biscuit, Seven Nation Army,
Oh my
in the
god.
Cold Cold Night. I
Yeah.
mean, Black Math. There's
They I mean,
the hardest button
everything
to
they made
button.
sounded cohesive, but it's like like you knew it was a White Stripes song, but they all sounded uniquely different in their own. I mean, you've got In the Cold Cool Night, you got Meg singing, and you know, Elephant Jack started to bring in the piano and keyboards and things like that. So the music got a little bit more complex, but I mean, I do a lot of comparison between like the White Stripes and the Black Keys because obviously they both started out 2 pieces, drum and guitar, blah blah blah. Um, I know that the White Stripes obviously haven't gone on as far as the Black Keys have, but something about when the Black Keys started to become like a full band kind of bummed me out a little bit. I mean, I liked the simplicity, and I had a lot of I still have a lot of respect for the music that they make, but something about being able to do it with just 2 people, and the way Jack would play kind of bass lines on the guitar, like and kind of switch in and out, like go from kind of a bass line like in Seven Nation Army, and then go to guitar parts in the chorus. Um, something about that dexterity with the way that he used instrumentation, I thought was always really innovative.
And the song you even just said, Seven Nation Army. In 50 years' time, there's going to be a college campus somewhere in
Oh,
America.
they'll be playing Seven Nation Army until
Seven
we're
Nations coming
old
out.
people.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
That is going to outlast me and my kids when it comes to music that's being played at. It's just
And none of the people on the top 10, I think, have anything like that. I mean, does anybody really have? I mean, it's like, how many pop songs become like something that's that ingrained into sport or culture or whatever? I mean,
the only other song I could think of that's as big as that one, and it comes back from the 80s, is like Enter the Sandman by Metallica, because I mean that's another one that come out to, but like college campuses,
or like da 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 da, hey, like Gary Glitter or something like that. I mean,
Gary Glitter,
or even at like, I mean, or even you'll have them like in sports fandoms, like, Boston's got Sweet Caroline, and Ohio State's got like Hang On Sloopy and stuff like that, but there's not one that's like
comes across
everywhere.
What's that one that's like just a small town girl?
Yeah, Journey.
World. Yeah, that's played everywhere too.
Don't Stop Believin' is that's.
But here's the problem though with that. I can't listen to that without thinking of Will Ferrell and Jimmy Fallon doing that sketch together.
Oh, not The Sopranos.
No, fuck that. No. Hot take on this one. I just rewatched Sopranos and I'm like, maybe it just doesn't appeal to me anymore.
I'm a little worried if I rewatched it. I don't think I would. Like, for me, like, would that be, I mean, is not the,
I loved it when it first came out. When it first came out, I was like, it was must-see TV, had to be there for
absolutely,
I watched it again the other day, like a couple months. It would take me a couple months, but I was like,
yeah.
I'm not as invested in him and the characters. Really? I also feel like some stuff is forced. I appreciate like the time and era it came out in, but I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, in the same sense, too, people say that about The Office, and I can watch The Office all the time. So
yeah. I think it's just, times change, and like things are different in your life, and things just hit differently.
I agree with you on that.
What's on next on your list?
I just did.
Oh, you said Elephant. Okay,
yes.
I'm gonna do Weezer, Pinkerton. I think this is the beginning of emo. And
what year did that come out?
It was 96, so it just made it onto this list. And it is on the list. It's in like it's some ghastly like, it's 74, which is just wrong. And things have happened with Weezer recently. Weird things about people in the band, and
oh really?
Yeah, and I for me, Weezer is, you can't go much past the Green Album, but Pinkerton to me is their masterpiece.
And what year was that one?
1996, which would have been the first year that Pitchfork was happening.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but for me, it's my favorite Weezer record, and I think it doesn't really get much better than that from Weezer. So, and it was a 10, so it got a 10 from Pitchfork. So and go figure. And it's on 74. Yeah, right between Fleet Foxes and SZA.
Oh,
so what's
so hold on a second. I just want to say, I always thought, and I just want to make sure they were active because they came out in 92. I always thought Sunny Day Real Estate was the band that really pushed emo.
I think that can be debatable, and I think that they I don't know, like Weezer, or just like, especially with Pinkerton, I think that they were it was very like, Rivers was a kind of a whiny crybaby, and it's got Pink Triangle on it where he's singing about, I fell in love with a lesbian, and then he's writing letters to Japanese girls, and just like really, that really spoke to people like me who were like, oh my God, I'm in love with this girl, but I don't have the balls to talk to her. Like, that was kind of just right there for me. Like, thank you.
Did he really write a song about falling in love with a lesbian?
Oh yeah, it's called Pink Triangle. Pink triangle on a sleeve. Let me know the truth.
Did you
Let me know.
have
the
you ever fallen in
truth.
love with a lesbian previous to your wife, of course?
No, but I always wanted. See, this is a joke in my family because I always wanted a lesbian best friend, and I had a daughter who's a lesbian, so I kind of have a lesbian best friend now.
So you hit the
So
jackpot now. She's
yeah,
gonna be
pretty
there for you.
much. I didn't have
So
a lesbian best friend, but now I do. So
have you ever
you just
seen
got
the
to
movie?
make your own.
You gotta make you gotta
Yeah.
make your own. Have you ever seen the movie Chasing Amy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah.
Real quick
I
story.
watched it. Yeah, go ahead.
Was working in Applebee's, living in Stanton, Virginia, right?
hmm
The waitress name was Amy. Head over heels for her.
hmm
Coming out find she's a lesbian. And like she played with my emotions for like
Oh, Anthony.
for like 3 months. And like
Oh.
it kills me. But it is what it is.
But
You
no,
know,
I
that's- I've had actually
I've watched Chasing Amy again recently, and it doesn't hold up as well
No.
as I thought it would. But I still, my favorite scene is where they're at the comic book convention at the beginning, and uh the black comic book writer does the thing about Star Wars. It's one of the best. I think it's one of the greatest. It's the greatest thing Kevin Smith has ever written. It's not. It will never not be funny, and it's hilarious when he talks about like he's the blackest brother. I think Darth Vader's the blackest brother in the galaxy. He's a Nubian god. What's a Nubian? It's just so damn funny.
Oh, it's the best. But I
it
still think the best movie he's ever made was Mallrats, in my opinion.
I am a Mallrats fan. Yeah,
Love Mallrats.
I'm definitely a Mallrats fan. I love the soundtrack. I love just the quirky nature of Mallrats. It's just something about it, and it gets better the more that you see it.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the older you get,
Yeah.
it's to me, it's like Empire Records, which I'm coming up on a couple weeks before I watch it again.
I know you got to get ready. It was on Hulu the other day. I was watching it. So
See, I have a hard time because like I want to watch it ahead of time, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to break the tradition.
you save it. You save it.
Only watch for
Yeah.
my birthday. So, but no, I can't wait. I love it.
Okay.
All right.
So
what's my next
what's
album?
next?
I don't know if you know this band. Maybe you do. I've actually had the original singer on the show. He actually broke news on the show about like why the band broke up. It was crazy. He was shit-faced. It was amazing. It was a good time. Louis the 14th. The best little secrets are kept. I fucking love this album. It is such.
What was their single? What was that single that they did?
Find Out True Love Is Blind.
Yes, yes.
Chocolate girl. Why don't you give me something I want?
I love, another band that I like that reminds me of them is the Electric Six.
Oh my god! Oh,
I love.
Wait, is that the one that sang Gay Bar? Because that was a fucking jammer back in the day.
They
want to take
made-
you to a gay bar.
Possibly, but they have one called Improper Dancing.
100%.
It just goes improper dancing in the middle of the street.
What was it? Didn't they have there wasn't a band called like Scissor Sisters?
Oh, Scissor Sisters is great. Yeah,
Another good one. But I just anytime I want to put a smile on my face, like there is nothing better than hearing the beginning of this song. It's just like,
yeah.
and then it's just the lyrics in this were so just like ridiculous. Just like the whole album is, and I saw them live. They were so good, but like I just remember hearing this for the first time.
They're just totally different.
Yeah. But like when my buddy bought me this album, first of all, the cover of it is a girl's back with all the song track titles on it with like her ass cheek sticking out. But like, if you've never heard of Louis XIV, I promise you will not regret it after you hear this beginning of the song.
Yeah.
Oh, chocolate girl, why you looking like something I want? I'm finding out I'm your little Asian friend. Well, she can come if she
wants.
Oh man, but it was great because they
that's a great song.
Jason Hill, who is the lead singer of that band, who is he writes and produces opening songs to a lot of the shows that you watch nowadays on Netflix. Like some of the top 10 shows, the lead singer of Louis XIV is literally producing and putting out, and he is so fucking talented.
Are they an American band? Are they?
Yeah, California.
Because they don't. Yeah, he's got that like accent that when he sings with.
Oh, dude! First of all, I message him every so often out of the blue and stuff like that because we have talked about doing some other stuff together because he loves music.
Yeah.
Like he loves. Actually, he'd be a good guest on the show because he loves ripping apart music. Like
awesome.
And he has his own studio in California. So when I interviewed him, first of all, I felt like a celebrity because there's this guy getting all the lighting done. He has makeup getting done before the show. We're talking, and he's like, "Ask me anything. It's okay." So then, like, he is sitting back. I'll have to send you the link to the interview. He's sitting back with his
Yeah.
feet up, drinking a beer. And then, like, he's brutally honest. Like, yeah, I never told anyone this story, but yeah, the reason I broke up the band because the other guys just weren't nearly as talented as me. I'm like, oh. I'm like, and he's like, we reunited. I'm like, you guys reunited recently. It's like, yeah, I did it because, well, they needed money, and I was just doing this as a favor. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I didn't know where to go with this, but he was just like open and honest. And then we were talking about. At that time, I was asking a lot of people about like who their favorite American band was, and like we got into this heavy, deep 25-minute conversation about Kiss, and like it was great, good stuff. But yeah, did
he love Kiss?
He did, but he liked it for the same reason I did. Like, when you're thinking about the greatest band, it's all about like the influence and the industry and all this stuff and groundbreaking and stuff. And he was just like, and he was throwing it at me. I'm like, man, I agree with everything you're saying. I said, finally, I found someone to agree with me. He goes, I'll argue this to the day I die. And then he cracked open a beer and just started chugging. I'm like, this is my kind of guy.
Did you hear that Kiss sold their catalog and sold everything, the catalog, their like visual rights, everything to a company that, they have all these companies now that buy all this stuff. So they sold everything, the rights to Kiss and everything. How much do you think they got for like the whole shebang?
Well, this is the first I'm hearing about this.
Like millions of dollars. How much do you think they got?
Well, I would assume just one of their songs, like Rock and Roll Night. Oh God, even like Thunder. I mean, those songs alone would make millions. I'm gonna say. Because now you're making me think second guess. Because originally I was like maybe 800 million, but now you're making me think it's lower. So I'm gonna go cut it in half and then 25%. So that's 4. And I'm gonna say 350 million.
300 million.
Oh, I was close.
And I thought that was low.
That's way too fucking low.
I thought and so the company that bought it has done like ABBA hologram shows or whatever. So there'll be a Kiss hologram show coming to your neighborhood sometime.
I figured that much.
But 300 million. I mean, Justin Timberlake sold his catalog for like 150, which I thought was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he's got like 6 or 7 records. I mean, this is like 40, 50 years of Kiss. I thought it was ridiculous.
I wonder if there's a back end to it. Maybe they didn't sell 100% of the rights and they're still getting some sort of parlay on the back. I don't know.
They might. I would hope they're getting a little something. I mean,
for 300 million.
Seemed low to me.
But now listen, if someone came to me and said, "Hey, Anthony, I want all your songs for $300 million," I'd be like, dude, I'll give you.
Well, sure, yeah, because I don't have any songs.
Give me 200 million. I give you them all.
I'll give you $1 million.
Oh, man. All right, what's next on your list?
My last one, and obviously this would not be on a Pitchfork list because it's too metal and weird and crazy, but Toxicity by System of a Down. I mean, that record is just insane. And
that's a good one.
They're a band that I wish could just get it together and make another record, but I understand that people have different personalities. They don't get along, and
aren't they about to tour? They just announced today that touring with.
So this is the deal. I did one of those festival shows like 5 or 6 years ago, and they were playing. So I did it with a bunch of other artists, and we were talking to one of the guys that worked for the company, and he was like, Surge tours totally separate from everybody else. They don't even see each other until they get on stage. Jesus. And they just jump up there and they play it and they do it well. And they're, but yeah, they don't really have much of a relationship at all. They just kind of get together and play and do it and get paid, and that, which is fine because they really play well when they play together and they're really into it. But yeah, they don't communicate. They won't make records. It's just sad.
Well, that sucks.
Just a bummer. But yeah, but I love that record. It's amazing. It's just and I love the how they get all the Armenian flavors and the guitar. I mean, it's just, I think they're a truly, I mean, they're super popular, but they're a truly overlooked band because I think that people just look at them as like, it's just a dumb metal band. No, there's way more going on than just that stuff.
And they were they have music in like Disney cartoon movies.
Do they really?
Yeah. Wake Up is in
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me.
oh, what was that in? I don't remember what it was recently too. Because I remember like it was a
Yeah.
chicken. And he's like, wake up, and the chicken's like going crazy. It was pretty funny.
Oh, it wasn't Migration, was it? Was it that one?
Maybe.
Or was it like a Chicken Run or something?
I don't know.
I took my kids to see Migration and I fell asleep. So
Oh, dude,
that one wasn't so
I
great.
have a movie you have to see. Like,
Oh,
have to see. Like, this is to me,
what is it?
Late Night with the Devil is potentially.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. Yes, it's on
dude,
my list.
I've
Is it on Shudder yet?
No, that's on the
I thought it was
21st of this month.
Okay.
So I have the AMC A list, whatever it is, and I went and saw it.
Oh,
I
okay.
Literally was fucking sucked into the movie. Like, I mean, it was making me like. I've never seen a horror movie with so much feeling in it like this. It was done perfectly. Yeah, I didn't even realize the lead actor is from like Kansas City and was like showing up to a bunch of screenings. I would.
Oh, really?
Kind of cool. Yeah,
he's been in a lot of Christopher Nolan stuff. He was in Oppenheimer.
But he was also Polka Dot Man.
What was that from?
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, but he's been in like Batman or Dark Knight and stuff like that. So yeah, he's. I always call him the dude with the weird face.
He does have an interesting look.
Oh, he's got a very. You can't forget it once you see it, and So what's the last one on yours? Do you have one more?
Yes, Nine Inch Nails with Teeth. This is such a great album. All Love in the World, The Collector, Love Is Not Enough, The Hand That Feeds. Every Day is exactly the same. The music video to that, and like the meaning behind it. Nine Inch Nails, every song has meaning and beautiful, and like it's such beautifully written. But like to that was like, and it's great album, and I'm shocked that wasn't.
It wasn't. Was it on the list at all?
I don't believe.
Or was it just like really? No, that's a great record. And there's just some, and I got, I understand some of this stuff, but I just don't, car seat headrest. I mean, I don't know. I don't get, I must be an old man, but there's some of these things that I mean, some of this stuff, there's like like every Lana Del Rey album. I mean, I don't get it.
I wish I did. I wish I could.
Yeah. I mean, and I understand there's lots of music and I get it, but yeah, some of it. I mean, there was Elliott Smith was on like way down at the bottom of the list. EXO is my favorite Elliott Smith.
From a
record.
Basement on a Hill was a good one, but
that was Sleater Kinney. I mean, Deftones. I mean, like every rated Spoon. I mean, I love Spoon. Lady Gaga was like 178. Outcast, Speakerbox and Love Below 180.
Oh, I totally forgot about that album. That should be. I mean, that should be about fucking Kanye West.
That's what I think. I mean, you don't know. I mean, it's got Hey Ya. It's got Hey Ya on it. Come on.
Hey Ya with the shower dance. I used to love the shower dance.
That song, it comes on now, and I'm turning it up every time. And we probably talked about this before.
100%.
Just, it's one of those songs. It's just it's indelible.
It is crazy. It's just shocking that this is what it's come down to. But we are not Pitchfork. We are only people that bitch about people's lists.
We are Bitchfork.
We are Bitchfork.
Trademark. I'm trademarking that right now.
Bitchfork.
Yes.
For those who hate Pitchfork, we bitch about it. Oh man. Well,
so what do you got coming up?
Oh,
you got tour. When does tour start?
It is so. I actually looked at my calendar today of things that Anthony has overcommitted to.
I love that, don't you?
I just don't know how to say no. So I run my third half a marathon next weekend, and then I run my fourth one the weekend after, and then I take a break from running. I see some
like
41.
Forever.
No. My goal is to run my 10th half marathon on my 40th birthday, which will be it'll be a year from now, which I honestly think I'm gonna have to readjust that because I might have to put it to 15 because I have found out, and you tell me if you'd be upset by this. So I ran my first half a marathon, and I got this guy called me, said, listen, you had a great time. And it was like 2 hours and 23 minutes, which to me was like, oh, it's okay. I'm doing good. Like, but in the past I've done better. And he's like,
Yeah.
man, for your age and class, you're doing great. I'm going to send you a code. Do you want to be part of this? Like, just like if you run these 3 races and you do within this before 2 hours and 30 minutes, you get a jacket and a medal. I'm like, and he goes, I just would like for you to be part of this. I'm like, sure, I'll do it. So I get the email and it says, dear Mr. Krizowitz, welcome to the Clydesdale class. I'm like, wait a minute. The fucking
Are you
Clydesdale
calling me
class?
a horse?
Yeah. Because of my height and weight, I am considered, and my age, by the way, I'm considered a Clydesdale. So either A, I'm a majestic, fucking beautiful horse, or they're just calling me a fat ass. I am unsure of the terminology.
I'd go with the majestic, beautiful horse angle, but yeah,
But
I don't know,
Brian, before you start saying that, I've seen pictures of me running. I'm
I
starting.
don't
to
like-
lean, I'm starting
You're
to
starting
lean
to-
more on the fucking fat ass side of things. More.
I don't like seeing pictures of myself. No, I don't like it.
Dude,
Not
there's
at all.
one picture.
I played pickleball and paddle tennis, and I played in a pickleball tournament with a friend a couple of weeks ago, and we won our division, and we didn't know that if you won, you got an automatic qualification to the nationals in like January. So I was like, and then they're taking our pictures, and I'm like, dude, can I cover my old man belly with like the sign or whatever? But yeah, I don't like pictures.
Oh, there's this one picture, and there's like 4 of them are looking good. There's one that I look like, I don't know if it was like I pulled myself together enough that I was like I bridge it all in and stuff. Like I will tell you though, like I have been working out a lot. I was even noticing in like one of my like a little while ago, I was like popping, like I had a muscle pop here. I didn't even know I had. It was like I felt fucking good about myself. But like there's one picture I'm like running. I'm like, man, I look like a badass. I swear to you, Brian, as soon as I click the next picture I'm in, I look like I need a training bra. My fucking half of my belly is on the side, and I'm like, and it's like weird, like, I'm like, you don't need to post that, like, but, and I'll never share that. I'll share it with you, but I know goddamn well that if Brad got a fucking hang of that poster, that picture, it'd be on fucking t-shirts and stickers, and I would see myself at birth. So there's no chance of me ever posting that fucking photo.
I totally get it. Yeah.
But yeah, so I have that. Then next month. So I see Sum 41 in a couple weeks. I see. There's quite a few shows I'm going to this year. But yeah, Pearl Jam's the end of next month. That's the big Seattle event.
Yeah,
I have to call you about tomorrow because I need to talk to you about that. But
yeah, sure.
That's the big event, and then it's kind of like we go to Boston in June, like family vacations. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we're doing a lot of things right now. Brady's in the heat and the moment of soccer, so that's just taking over our lives, and he is just fucking killing it. And we're just chilling, and then I have this, the podcast, which there are a couple of things coming up, and whatnot.
Awesome.
We have a show on April 23rd. We'll have a musician live in studio for Let's Talk Vinyl. So I'm kind of excited about that, and it'll be cool.
Cool. Good.
Yeah. What about you? What's on the agenda for you?
The Guided by Voices opening tour show was Friday. Went well. The poster did well. So those are for sale in the store at bmedi.com. So that's cool. I'm working on a poster right now for Violent Femmes. And also a big summer show in Cincinnati that I'm working on right now that I can't talk about quite yet. But
nice.
That will be fun, and I'm doing something pretty cool for that show. So we'll, and I'm sure there'll be other stuff going on too. But that's what I got on the books right now.
Oh, well. Things to look forward to for sure.
Absolutely.
And then next month we'll do something. I think we should do something. We'll have to add somebody. I'm gonna reach out to Jason Hill, see if he wants to come on, and we'll do a music thing. If he doesn't want to come on, maybe I'll invite one of my other artist friends on, and maybe we'll see about doing some sort of pop culture movie thing, because it's been a while since we've done movies.
That's true. Yeah. Let's think about that.
Yeah, so we'll tap in, but it'll be next month. We'll have to look at a date because next month's will be crazy for both of us.
Yes.
I know. We'll figure it out. But I just got a text message. There is I guess Paul and the Tall Trees put an album out in also 2021, so it's recent.
Oh, nice.
And I've never heard the song, but we're gonna play this on the way out. But once again, I'd like to thank Brian for continuing to come on the show and entertain me.
I'd like to thank Anthony for having me.
Oh, thank you.
And providing all the awesome sound effects.
I keep going. You know what? Ever since I redid my soundboard, I'm still I don't know where things are, and I'm still having to figure it out. And I keep telling myself to retrain. But like I think this would be. I think we need to start bringing this back. Like talking like a robot. I mean, that would be kind of clever. Or or like me going to curse and be like, yeah, go yourself. I mean, I got to get back into using the board a little bit more.
Sure, makes it fun.
It does make it fun. I just have to we'll roll. We'll go. Because we are the best podcast ever. But anyway, Brad says, why not critique a list of top movie posters?
Oh, now are we thinking like
Original?
artsy fartsy? Yeah, originals or artsy fartsies, Brad?
That's a great one. I like that idea because we can go through it. I like that idea because we could do generations, like top 5 movie posters from like the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you know what? I'm going to message Robert Bruno after we get off this because he'd be good for that. We'll see.
And we could dig into like best movie posters of all time and stuff like that.
Oh, man.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like this.
That's a good idea, Brad.
I like this. I like this one. Oh, wait. You know what? We have to give a...
There you go.
That's right.
Oh,
anyway.
I already don't like that. Okay, cool. Thanks, Anthony. Well, no, I pulled up the first list. It's Empire, 50 best movie posters ever, and it obviously starts at 50. And I was like, oh, I already don't like the list, so that's perfect.
I know everyone goes to like Star Wars, but this conversation is going to go too long. We'll talk about it next month.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally doing it. But I want to say, Showgirls, one of the most erotic movie posters that Anthony snuck into when he was like 11 and loved every minute of it.
Oh, that movie. Wow.
So
it is
bad.
Something. It is so bad.
Good. That pool scene will ever forever.
Oh, it's that is. I keep telling my daughter and her friends, I'm like, you got to watch Showgirls if you want a laugh. Like that pool scene is like unreal.
Like Showgirls is like almost like what Rocky Horror Picture Show is like. It's like kind of a cult classic, but
it has, and people go and now I don't know if they have like things that you yell back at the screen. There should be things you yell back at the screen. I don't know what they are, but
is she dead? Because I do remember leaving the movies real quick, not to keep the show going, but like I left the movies. And I remember like talking to a friend. I'm like, is that how you are supposed to do it?
Well, to this day, we'll say if somebody got kicked down the stairs, they got Nomi Malone. I mean, because she kicked. That's a Nomi. Yeah,
I didn't never heard that.
That's you got Nomi'd because somebody kicks you down the stairs. So.
There was just for a little young boy, hormonal boy. There was a lot in that movie for Anthony to.
Oh, there was a whole lot going on in that film, no doubt about it.
All right, well, it was a pleasure. Let me hit
the
music. And this is Paul and the Tall Trees. I'm here from 2021. I'm Anthony Kriswitz. That's Brian Met, all the way up from the great area of Cincinnati. Have a great week, y'all. I'm literally trying to find a song better to go out on. I'm digging this one. All right, guys. Have a good one.